Benny Coleman. I'm the chairman of the Clover Fork Independent Citizens for Progress and Education. Clover Fork, we're over a 60-year organization that began for that reasons to make things better on Clover Fork of Harlan County. Initially started with a center that was on the banks of the river that here in Evarts. The Corps of Engineers bought us out. The funds that they bought us out with, we purchased the former Evarts High School with it. After it sat empty for 3 or 4 years and vandals took over, we saw a need to preserve it for future development. Well, presently, I'd say the chairman of the group that now, the citizens group that owns the property. Of course, my ties to Evarts is I'm a graduate of Evarts. I grew up, reared here in town, took over the family business after attending college and came back and 2 years ago, sold the business, and after existence for over 85 years, we still have a lot of school alumni meetings, reunion here that we sponsor with, Clover Fork Group sponsors with in conjunction with Evarts High School alumni who continually give scholarships away each year to students that would have graduated here from Evarts High School if we'd still had it. Evarts was one of the 3 high schools that was consolidated into building the present Harlan County High School. Just still, this is home, and still believe that this area that, much like the entire part of all of Harlan County, has given so much to the development of this state and the nation for the importance of the large coal productions and timber productions that came out of this county.
And we hope to restore it into where it's once again a much needed and useful facility for the community and the entire Harlan County. A lot of this is an old building. The presently has a drop ceiling. The proposal is we take it back to its original, to where the beams was exposed, and to where it'll once again be used for sports, community activities. This has been named as the Earl Rogers Gymnasium, a memorial for a long-time educator and coach here at Evarts. As you can see on the walls, we have some paintings and done by former principal here and also at the new Harlan County High School, Bob Howard, the renowned artist, some of his works. On the wall behind the bleachers, paintings that were done of basketball players for tournaments that were played here in the past called the Cumberland Valley Conference, the CVC. And each of those was the representative of the high schools that were here during that time frame. And these were really preserved drawings. Once again, we want to try to bring back the life for this old building. This portion was built in 1937. It's still very strong. It has given to the community over the years in education and entertainment and social. We once again want to keep it and to make it thrive.
My name is Sandy Donahue, and what I do is I help people take their vision that they have, something maybe that they would write on a cocktail napkin, or what they would like to accomplish in their community, and I give them the tools and the roadmap and help them make their dreams come true. I've been doing this for about 30 years. I'm originally, I grew up in Beattyville, Kentucky, but like so many people before me, my parents moved to Chicago when they were first married, and that's where I was born. And like all good Kentuckians, they migrated back home. So I was able to attend school in Lee County. That's where I grew up.
My name is Chase Crawford. I am the founder of 4x3 Productions. I am a media specialist with Backroads of Appalachia. I lead the class of women in recovery with our program at Appalachia's Happiest Places. I wear a lot of hats.
My name is Maddie Creech. I'm 19 years old. I'm from and I currently live in Partridge, Kentucky, and my role right now is community liaison at Backroads of Appalachia. I work with Backroads, but I'm really employed through AmeriCorps. So they're really big on like funding like volunteers from all around America to help these smaller communities that's really in need.
I'm Daniel Ware with Champlin EOP Architecture, and we are working on a project to renovate and find a reuse for the Evarts High School in Evarts, Kentucky. So we have been spending last month looking at the existing building and thinking about what the future use of this building can be. As many know, the built infrastructure in our communities is a huge asset and resource when taken care of properly and maintained. Many buildings that are not maintained end up having to be demolished because the money to renovate them ends up being more of an investment than to demolish them and build new. What we have found over the last month is that this is not the case with the Evarts High School building. That building has been maintained over the years. Some major, I would say, upkeep maintenance items will need to happen. Just naming a few would be to tuck point all the brick, replace the windows in the existing high school, and then also to provide insulation and bring the structural floors, slabs, etc. up to code. But given the fact that this building was so well maintained, those are pretty typical items that we would see having to invest in renovating any building of that's almost 100 years old now. And now we are going to be looking at what function this building can serve for the community. What are programs that are needed in the community that could be housed in this building? This building does serve a community function. We do think that this building needs to remain flexible and adaptable to multiple different uses. I think the building space is very valuable to exist in this community.
So we don't have, again, this is a giant high school that was built in 1937, Benny, and
37.
when was the addition?
This section of it's 37. Add-ons was done in the 70s.
So, we have rooms. What's so cool, and Chase, when we first came in video to begin with for the JTF program, all the old Apple stuff. There's so much history that's just, and these rooms look like they're stuck in time when I was a young person going to school. So, but I like to show you the process, what we're doing, having the ability to change some of these rooms into living quarters for people that come in so they can get trained on things. And that's kind of what, this is such a massive building. That's what scared me more than anything. We're not talking about one project. You're looking at 20 phases to have it completed, which I believe that with the right plan and persistence, I think it could easily come to fruition.
I've known Eric actually less than a year. I heard about him for quite a while with his program with Backroads of Appalachia. And I reached out to him last year to see if he would help us in our projects of what we wanted to do here. We've tried different projects to make work here in Evarts. We saw the dental residency program. There's 97% of every child sitting in a classroom in the Appalachia spine that has at least one cavity, and the need for dental is greatly. So we sought after that along with Mr. Ed Childers, who graduate of Evarts also, and he did a tremendous amount of work and scale models and blueprints and architectural design that helps me tell the story of the need of things that could go on here. We have the scale models development of a hotel here for the high school, 80-room hotel that he put together proposals for. We have not been successful in these programs, and I reached out to Eric, and I thought Eric could help me on this in development.
How did you get into the nonprofit world and specifically working with Eric?
It was actually quite by accident. I had worked for Congressman Rogers for several years in Washington, D.C., and then moved back to Kentucky and began employment as a consultant in the engineering industry. And most of that work initially was with public utilities, public infrastructure, that kind of work. And then I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to serve in the state of Kentucky as Commissioner for the Department for Local Government. And that's where I really began to get to know the work of nonprofits and how government could be beneficial to nonprofits, and was fortunate enough upon returning to the private sector to meet Eric. And Eric was someone that had a vision and had the energy and the charisma and could relate to people. And I quickly recognized that working with Eric, we could team our skill sets. He could be the person out front, talking to people, making people feel comfortable, sharing his vision, and I could listen and help make those projects become real.
I want to share with you that Eric Hubbard is one of the most talented, passionate individuals that I have ever met. He works 24 hours a day. You can send him an email in the middle of the night and you'll get a response back to that. He's genuine, he's authentic, and his heart is to make the communities where we live and work a better place. There is no better partner out there than Eric Hubbard, and it's been a pleasure and a joy to get to work with him.
Yeah, I mean, I was introduced to Eastern Kentucky back in the summer of 2022 when I did a road rally and I met you. And by you, I mean Eric Hubbard, who is the mayor of Eastern Kentucky. He's the guy who knows everyone. No one doesn't know him. He walks into a room, makes everyone laugh, and leaves an impression. He left that impression on me. I went home, edited that, put it out. We kind of reconnected, and you came up to Cincinnati, saw the studio, and we just had a brainstorm session.
By your studio.
Thanks. I mean, this is a much bigger undertaking, I think, even than that. When you walk around and you compare, this is a huge vision. And film and media is just a part of it.
I mean, when I first met Chase, they wore filmmaker clothes, you know, and here I am, more of the harder other side, and didn't think we would jive. And then we took them after filming one day. I was like, "Coffee in, and let's go ride side by side." And we about killed them, and we became friends. But Chase sent me something. We had a conversation out of the blue. And he sent me a Rolodeck of doing what he's done in Cincinnati, somewhere in Eastern Kentucky, because of his trips for the TV show he done with us. And the next day, and I can't make this up, Benny calls me. And we were working on a funding project with the Rockefellers and Just Transition Fund for a race car track. And after sitting with Benny for the day, seeing the struggles that they're doing and the population decline of their organization, I pitched it to Chase. Then Sandy, she's always hiding in the background. She bought in, and we applied through the JTF, and we pitched it, and they gave us $250,000 to start this project. And that gives us capital and match, and also the technical assistance we need to do it correctly, not be dependent on certain districts and, you know, the anchors that holds down movement. We're able to streamline past that and hire people to do their proper measurements to develop this project. So,
From Evarts High School to become Hope High, it kind of veered a little from what we had thought it could be, but Eric opened the doors to a lot of projects of how we can help not just the people here, but the people in the region and different states to come here for help. College level vocational school. It could be a residence where they could take 3 months, 6 months training of learning how to work on diesel equipment. And this would be helping people that's in recovery that would also serve the needs of the jobs that are needed in this nation now. We are what Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge area was 60 years ago. We just don't think that the world is aware of the assets that we can provide. The loss of the school during the consolidation was a hard hit on the community. Growing up, the love here for this school, this community, our families here, our friends here, our alumni is tremendous in helping us, and we still hold our alumni meetings here that annually, and the scholarships that are given to up and coming the graduates of our 2 county high schools.
There's ample space for job training. We understand that local individuals to use heavy equipment, for culinary training, vehicular maintenance, woodworking, work in textiles, etc. There is ample space that this building can be used for those functions, and to the point that this building needs to stay adaptable and flexible. What that means is that the build out of this space would contain the infrastructure to run all those different programs, so that if one was doing really well, that program could expand to the whole building, or retract, or you could add new programs in, that the spaces would be multi-use. We're also thinking that entrepreneurship and filmmaking is very important in this area.
Whether it is through diesel technology, heavy equipment, Kubota, things of that nature, there's possibilities that may be able to be worked into this plan, where our children and grandchildren can learn those skills that don't pay $5 and $6 and $8 an hour. They pay $50, $60, $70, $80, $90, $100 an hour. You're able to be on call and be able to do these things. Healthcare side of it. We've got a new president at the Southeast Community College, Lee Harris. Yes. Love her to death. We've had conversations prior to her becoming the president, even with Eric was in some of those conversations about maybe having some satellite opportunities over here. Instead of people having to drive over to Cumberland or drive down to Harlan, you can get some education right here. But you have to have that facility. So this facility, when we say multi-purpose community center, it can be so multifaceted that, again, we tend to get in kind of one track or one mode or one thought, but that space is so versatile. I guess what I'm saying is you're going to be opened up, you're going to hear some ideas that may seem like, well, how does that rubber meet the road? Or how does that make sense in this facility? But keep an open mind across the spectrum on this. I think it can just almost check every single box in some capacity. It needs to return in its very basic state as a center for education, a center for hope, a center for being able to expand your mind to look at the possibilities of life.
Oh, this project is phenomenal. This is a project that on the surface, you initially think Evarts, Kentucky, they perhaps wouldn't be a community that would be prepared to take the next step and go forward. And what's fascinating about this community is they have done the hard work, they've done the public participation, they've done the planning processes, they have their vision, they have their dreams, they have vision boards, they have engineering work that they've had done, architecture work that they've had done gratis from former graduates. They have fantastic plans of what they would love to do in their community.
A lot of possibilities, and this county has had great success with actual theater, live theater plays. Actually, the gymnasium was used for one of what we call higher ground, which is well-known production out from Southeast College. Possibly a space for a theater. We have contacts with Barter Theater, with Lexington Children's Theater, things that can be brought in for that our children can be, grandchildren all can be exposed to, that there is, to see a Shakespeare play or whatever, whatever of interest at the time. If we're going to grow, then we want to grow with community and in culture as well.
But what's not happened for them so far is someone who could come and sit with them and really pay close attention to what they have already done and the hard work that they've done, and help them find a pathway to funding to make these projects become reality. In the case of Evarts, they have done absolutely everything that a funder or an elected official or any other governmental entity would ask them to do. The step that hasn't happened is to realize the funding for their project, and that's why we're here today, and that's why this is so critically important.
This community has done its due diligence. It's done everything that a funder asks you to do, and here's our plan, here's our project, and this is what we want, and that gives you credibility. What we have to remember through this process, first, we do need to dream. We need to think big. We need to think bigger than what we are now. We need to think about our future, and we need to think about that young man in the Nike shirt back there. What is his future going to be? And we want to create a future in this community so he can stay here if he wants to. But we also have to recognize that we have a low population, and we're going to have a project that is sustainable and will cash flow.
High is a fascinating project. This high school that we're sitting in right now has always been a pillar of this community. It's been very important. The Alumni Association has been faithful and loyal. They've kept this building going for years at their own personal expense. Rarely do we see an Alumni Association as strong as this one. Unfortunately, what we're seeing is the length of time that the building has been closed. Obviously, the graduates, the population, the support for this building is aging, and they recognize this, and they know that they need to have a plan for the future going forward. And that's why we're here today, is what is going to be their eventual plan. What happens after the last graduate from this school is no longer able to keep the project going. They want a future for the property. There's lots of visionary ideas of what could be involved in this project. There's still a kitchen facility that could be used for many adaptive reuses. It could be used for a commercial kitchen. It could be used for a culinary training center.
But I think we can work on a community nutrition program, work with the Department of Agriculture and with the state of Kentucky. There's revenues and ways that we can help the population, especially with hopefully a healthier diet in the future. And I'm one to talk, but I think it could really create a culinary pathway where people that can go work here, train here, and potentially go to Jeff Ruby and become a culinary chef for Jeff.
Well, another thing that we had talked about too is like food kitchens and launching ideas out here. Like I think that that's not necessarily a need, but like all the food trucks and everything that you see at all these festivals, they have to be based somewhere. They have to prepare their food somewhere, and this can even be like an open concept hub for that.
So it's fascinating to talk about what we could do with that kind of facility if it were made available. So there are lots of options and opportunity with a space the size of this building, and we're exploring all of those. But at the end of the day, what is most important is that we are here to help the community with their vision of how they want their community to look for the next 10 to 20 years and on into the future, and what will recruit new people to come live in this community, and what will encourage the people that are here to stay and make this their home and be able to live and thrive.
But what we didn't have was a professional's stamp that indeed this building is solid. We indeed do not have structural issues that cannot be overcome. And that indeed, if rehabilitated, and it will not be cheap, I will tell you, it will not be cheap, but if indeed this building were rehabilitated, it would be cheaper to rehabilitate it than it would be to build the same footprint back in today's dollars. And secondly, the building would have lifespan of over 100 years in the architect's professional opinion if it were rehabilitated. So that tells you that you have a tremendous asset in this community. And there were a lot of people that probably would have come here, would have taken a look at this building and said the best thing that can happen to your old building is for it to be raised. And so now we know with professional opinions that that is not the case. So now that we have our roadmap and our roadmap for the community, we've been through this public input process. We've involved lots and lots and lots of partners. We are creating as we go a vision of going forward of what works here, what's for the community, and then we also need to work through what's going to work financially. We have a plan.
We have done multiple studies, space planning studies, looking at all of these, a combination of these, just to make sure that the building infrastructure can support these functions, and then also that we have the dollars allocated so that it's well understood what the investment is going to be to bring this project to life.
Plan your work and work your plan. So now we've created a plan. So going forward, what we're going to need to do is work our plan and start and try to put together the puzzle pieces and go through the process. It's not easy, it's slow, but we begin refining our vision, and then we work every day toward finding ways to finance that vision.
Yeah, right now we're working on Hope High. we're really working on getting like Evarts back on track because it's such a great community, and we're really just working on meeting everyone, getting to know everyone. That's really what I'm doing right now, just kind of put my foot in the door and just trying to make really a difference, get the population rolling back in here.
I began teaching there in 1973. I finished teaching there when they closed the school and opened Harlan County High School. I taught for 28 and then I subbed for 10 more. There are so many people love that school and what it stands for. And at one time, we had the biggest off-campus Southeast college classes up here. There were more up here than any other place that Southeast had. So it can be done again.
My take on Eastern Kentucky, I think that they're some of the smartest, hardworking, most humble people out there. And I think that they get the exact opposite rap on the internet, and that bothers me. And it bothers me because I'm the kind of person who can do something different about it. I can go make a video showing off the positive side of something. So yeah, we went back to the drawing board, came up with some vision, some branding. We landed on Hope High. We came down here and toured the high school. That was last summer. Fast forward to now, we're in March of 2025. I think in the past 6 or 8 months, we've made incredible progress. Just Transition Fund's a huge part of that. I couldn't imagine where this project would be without their support. For me, what I see in Eastern Kentucky is that smart, humble, hardworking group of people who haven't been matched with opportunities that are at the level of their humble and hard work and all of those natures of being a human. So long story short, what I wanted to do when I saw this place, when I met you, when I heard all of the stories, I was like, this would be a great incubator, great community incubator. The mountains will always keep you separated from people, but having a common place, having a Slack channel with other small business owners or freelancers where you can use them as a resource. Hey, I need an extra set of hands tomorrow. Drop that in a group chat of 220, not just of your neighbors, but people cut from the same cloth as you, hardworking, determined to just get whatever done. The communities here are, I think, the incredible part, and what we want to do is strengthen those, build on top of them, build into them, and part of that's with this project. So creatively speaking, it's a large undertaking. It's a multi-purpose space that I think we're eyeing on. But my take on Eastern Kentucky is that this is the most exciting place to be right now.
It is just that we are proud of our area, we are proud of our people, we're proud of our heritage, we're proud of the ability to sustain. This is a tough place. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. When you grow up here, I guess you get salt rubbing on your skin. Coal dust, a whole lot of things around here, gravels and whatnot, but it makes you tough. You have a certain amount of that just, again, you can't buy that. You can't be taught that. It's not in a classroom. It's something that you learn by growing up here. This is a tough place, but it is full of tough people, resilient people that have the ability to take nothing and make something, the ability to take something broken and fix it in a way that's never been happened before.
Since receiving support from JTF, we've had the ability to focus on going after other grants. One of those being a USDA grant that's gonna hopefully give us the funds to create a green screen facility, a podcast production room, a co-working space, all in the former library. And that will essentially kick off the revitalization of this place. It's a perfect phase one, gets people in the building, gets them working, and more importantly, gets them putting this place out there on the internet. People know that something's happening inside of there. What is it? And yeah, I think through community events and other in-person activations where it's kind of an open door, come all, check it out. Those are gonna be the events that spread this place like wildfire through the community.
When you spend real time here, as those of you who are from here know, if you look behind and beyond those headlines, you see something more powerful that is here. You'll see creativity, you'll see grit, you'll see generational pride, you'll see people who fiercely love this region, its beauty and its blemishes. That's the thing that comes with it. They're determined to make something new out of what's left behind here. And you'll see entrepreneurs that are bringing new life to old storefronts. You'll see artists that are turning pain into purpose. You'll see volunteers that are preserving history, that are uplifting neighbors, that are building community. People are investing in this place, not because it's easy, but because it matters.
Think of all the history in here, all the stories.
Well, there's a note about finishing the senior video here, which kind of made me sad. It's probably like the last senior video they ever made. I was like, oh man, that's kind of